Alright, here we go. For those of you who got the 2 pounds of shredded soap, this is how you rebatch. I don't particularly like the pot. I like the crock pot method because the stove top, it kind of, as you can see, it burns pretty easily. And the temperature's at low, and you have to actually sit here and babysit this. If you start this on low, you don't want to go fast. You want to just let it cook. This is what your soap should look like. Over here, this is what your soap looked like before you put it in. But as you can see, that's starting to get melted down. Over here, this doesn't have much longer to go, but you'll see how much is left at the bottom of the pan. None of that is harmful, but it's ashy. And it just doesn't do that inside the crock pot. If it does, it's like very little compared to this. But those of you who don't have a crock pot or don't want to use your crock pot and you want to use a pot on the stove, you can do that. I would suggest starting with a pot because the 2 pound soap probably comes up to here. At about this point, it's almost done. You can let it go a little longer if you want, but this is actually going to make your soap look kind of neat. You know, these are like, the big chunks in here are like little embeds, and the shredding, some of the shred that's left in it isn't going to harm it. It's actually going to make the soap look kind of cool. Now, this soap is okay, but I think I want to add a little more scent to it. So what I'm going to use on that particular one is, this is lavender. Hold on, I'm smelling my oils I have ready. Let's see. Okay, what I'm going to do is add in about a half an ounce of, and this is a 1/4 cup. I'm only going to add half of this into the soap. So you'll want to add that right now. Okay. You can now turn your soap off. And then just let the rest of this kind of, sorry. You want to mix the oils in good. You don't have to add any oils if you know, any essential oils if you don't want to. But I have soaps that smell like this already from Rebatching. So what I'm going to do with this one is I added in a little more. That was bergamot that I added in to get a different scent. Okay. Now, while we let that sit for just a minute to finish up its cooking process, we're going to come over here. Now, you can use a bread pan, you can use a cardboard box. I didn't have a cardboard box, but to give you an idea, I went ahead and used this, or you can use a normal soap mold. Probably for a box about this size, this is about the length is 8 inches by 5 3/4 inches and about 2 inches deep. So this is perfect for making little loaf soaps. Okay, you can use wax paper in here, or you don't need it in your soap mold. Or you can just, like, I probably should have got a different bag. This one has items in it, but that's okay. I got it. I get a better bag. This one actually has holes in it, which won't do us any good. So you put this down in here, and go like this. If you fold that little hole over, it won't matter. It will stay, because that's a thick soap. It's not a runny soap. It's not a cold process. It's a hot process. And then you would just put your soap in there. You can do the same thing here, or you can use the soap mold. After you pour your soap in, they have to sit 24 hours to a day and a half in order to be able to come back and cut them. We'll probably do that the next day. Okay, so now that you know what you can use, you know, just remember just they'll need to be sealed, so you'll need to put something on top of it. In this case, you're just able to tie the bag. That's good. That's what's good about using just the bags. If you use wax paper, then you'll have to find something to set on top of it. And the same thing with this, but I have boxes that are long that I just slide them in, and then I close up the box, and it keeps the heat in. It cooks the soap. So, all right, let's go ahead and get this one rebatched. I'm going to use this box for this process, for this particular one. Okay. Now, because this is rebatched soap, all the lye is cooked out, so you can cook it in here. It won't harm anything. You can go back and eat off of these. It's not going to harm anything. I'd recommend using stainless steel, glass, or ceramic, but not a cast iron or I think that or aluminum. You don't want to use those, or Teflon coated, any of those. Those are just not good anyway. But the stainless steel and the glass are best. You can use your utensils; they won't harm anything, and the kids won't get hurt. If you have little soap molds, if you have a soap mold tray that has little designs in them or something, you can use that. Don't worry about the clumps because they go in the soap and they come out pretty neat, actually. Okay. You can use a spatula as long as you soak it in vinegar and baking soda. This taste and all that comes off of there. Okay. You want to get all that soap out. And then what you can do is you just kind of want to push it in there a little bit. Now you don't want to do this, I mean, mamas you can, but probably won't let the children do this because it is still kind of hot. And if you want, you just don't worry about the dry soap on top. The dry soap on top, it won't move. If you want, just push those into there. Ooh, it's a little hot. Okay. Now, what you can do, that's what I do is I go like this, push it down in there like this, and over the other side. You want to make sure that this doesn't end up in the crease of the soap, otherwise you'll be tearing out plastic. Now you don't have to use this plastic if you don't want to. Like I said, you can use freezer paper, but for me it's a convenience. And you just fold it down. Now this doesn't need any anything to go on top of it. It's going to sit just fine, and tomorrow we'll cut it. Okay. Now in the crock pot, which is actually the way I like to do it, I don't really like doing the pan, but I did it for those who don't want to use their crock pot and who want to sit there with the kids and maybe keep them busy doing that. For me, I prefer this process. It's not as fast, but the lovely part about this is I can go and for a while I can do whatever it is I need to do and come back. And as you can see, this does take longer. See, that's not cooking as fast, but it is cooking because it's starting to clump together. It's basically called a gel stage when you start to see the glistening or the glowing on this. Okay, now in this one I'm going to end up using lavender, and I'll probably pour in the rest of the bergamot to give that a nice scent. Tomorrow I will videotape the cutting of the soaps of this one and of the other one. I'm just going to let this cook. I have this is going to take a while. I'm not video editing any of this. It's just basically I'm just showing you how to do this. And so tomorrow when I go to do this, you know, I won't be coming back to show you what the gelling looks like on this because it's very similar to what you saw in the pot. And both sorts of soaps going to come out the same. They're just going to might be slightly different colors with obviously different scents. But remember, at the end of your cooking process of your soap, that's when you add in your essential oil. You don't want to add any more oils, no olive, no coconut, because it has a lot of fat in it now, and if you add too much, your soap will mold and it will go rancid very quickly. So have fun, enjoy yourself. This is a neat thing for kids to learn. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section below, and I will also be leaving the directions if you don't want to watch the video and you just want to print up how to do it. Okay, thank you for joining me, and have a good day.